Vani, Pop, Auntie. I called her before entering the house from the back door and saw her sitting in the living room. I stopped for a second and looked around before sighing in relief. I smiled at her and sat before her on the floor. "Did you run?" she asked. And I nodded, smiling. "I couldn't get even a single auto or a rickshaw to here when I got down from the bus," I explained, and looked around again. "He just went towards the lake to take a small stroll," she replied to my unanswered question. "Why did you come from the back door?" she asked before I could show her my relief. "I just wanted to bid my time to reach here. So I continued towards the end of the road and then took the lane behind ours," I explained, smiling more. "How was the wedding?" she asked, smiling at me. "I don't know. I left before it even started, directly from the function hall," I replied, to which she frowned at me. "I shouldn't have called you like this at all. However, the moment I saw him, I just did." "Now, you have missed your cousin's wedding," she said, in a sad tone. "It is fine, Auntie. It is not like I was dying to be there. I was there for Satvidi, and she seems to be fine at handling those both people," I said, shaking my head. "You should let go of your anger toward Layla, when Satvi already did that," she said in a small tone. "But," I started to say, only to stop, seeing her hand waving at me. "Did you forget about Mr. Chokasa?" she asked, and I suddenly grinned. "How can I forget him? He's like a very handsome man, and would make any girl look at him. However, he seems to be fallen for Maidi," I said, grinning, but saw her looking behind me. "Is he there?" I asked her in a whisper, to which she shook her head in negative. I slowly stood up, not believing her words, and took a deep breath, with a lecture for myself regarding how I should just talk to him normally, even a little before marriage. "I am ready," I mumbled, and she gave me an encouraging smile, but looked a little worried. I turned around only to take a step back with full force, seeing 4 guys looking at me like I have lost my mind. "We saw you running to the end of the road with our own eyes. How can you be here so soon?" some guy asked, with a confused look. "Did you really didn't attend your cousin's wedding and return from a function hall for him?" Another guy asked. "How were you able to run in that heavy clothing?" Another guy asked, and the questions just continued, which just made me think only about one point. They saw me running like a madwoman on the roads, which includes the person who is just staring at me with a frown. This is so not the first impression I want him to have for me. I mean, I have run so many times when he was here, but that was from the back door, or the front one, depending on the place he is present. However, I never ran on the road before him. Suddenly, panic settled inside my heart, and in the next second, I ran towards the kitchen and made it to my house within a few minutes. Wait! I heard someone calling when I was about to close the door. I know that the voice belongs to one of his friends, so I didn't close it on his face and waited for him to reach for the door. We shouldn't have scared you like that. However, it seems like you really run the opposite side whenever you see him. I never believed him, and always had a doubt. He continued to talk and just walked inside the house. "I will bring some water," I said, seeing his exhausted expression, and walked back only to see him still talking. "Here," I mumbled, placing the glass on the table. "I am Guy, and the one who asked you about leaving the wedding is Rick. Then person asking about your clothing comfort for running is David," he explained, and I nodded, feeling silly for running again. "I practically know you, Vani. I hope you don't mind me calling you that. He told us so much about you," he said when I didn't utter another word to him. "He talks about me?" I asked him with shock, before sitting on the chair before him. "Yes! I mean, kind of," he replied, frowning to himself. "Tell me about him," I suddenly asked, smiling when he was about to say something else. I finally got to know other things about him after 10 minutes of hearing from Gyur. He finally stood up, looking at the clock. "I need to leave. I was just here to apologize, but I don't know why I couldn't stop talking at all," he said, and I smiled again. "I am glad that you talked. It seemed nice to know some other things than the ones Auntie tells me," I said, to which he smiled but frowned. "It is good to know you, Vani," he said, before saying something else. "I didn't talk much," I mumbled, frowning. "You need not to. Thanks for the snacks too," he said before walking near to the door, but again stopped. "Maybe the next time when he comes here, you should really talk to him. It is good for both of you," he suggested, and just walked away. Well, I would have talked if they didn't ask those crazy questions one after the other, I thought, shaking my head. But then remembered his face. He is more handsome than the last time I saw him. I walked near to the door, to see all of them leaving Auntie's house, and walking away. Those few moments of our eye contact are enough for me to pass any number of days or even months. I grinned before walking inside the house, and closed the door before leaning on it.